This is a difficult video to be making at the moment, but as I was flipping through my journal the other day, I realized that the word love has only made very few features in it, approximately 14 times. What better occasion to then talk about those times than for the 14th of February? The first time I wrote about love, I said, but you never know when you fall in love with a person, and everything about you is about that person. I did not want to fall in love. This is why I kept myself away from the entire concept of dating a person. And then the next time I wrote about it, I was in love with someone else. And I said, is it bad that I moved on so quickly? That I am now in love with someone else within a couple of months? We never got the answer to that one. In all probability it was. But not because I let my heart run loose, but because I let it wander too far into the wild. And then again, madly in love, for a third time, I wrote, how blessed I am to have met, associated, befriended, loved a soul like you. This honestly harks a little bit of Jane Austen, doesn't it? The next time I wrote about love, the fourth time precisely, I said, I kind of feel like that person in a typical rom-com where the protagonist is a repeat offender of someone who abandons people in love or lies to them, etc., but suddenly falls in love with me and is determined to not repeat their mistakes this time when they get exposed by those whom he had wronged, and now of course I cannot keep dating them anymore. This was when I was heartbroken for a second time. After that, I think is when truly my journey of self-reflection began. And the fifth time I wrote love, I said, I think even at my lowest, what makes me feel the best is loving another person, or them making me feel loved, or just the feeling of love in general. I believe this to be true till date. Even if this was probably written like 3 years ago. Then the next time, I think I hit another realization, and I wrote, I feel like I need more love to sustain myself in this relationship. We have zero record of when our relationship started. We have no means of celebrating this love except in very select few occasions. So not just loving, I guess, but celebrating love is also something that gives me joy, that gives me something to look forward to. Funnily enough, the next time I wrote love, I was essentially cursing myself. Don't you even dare glance at any future prospects of a love life. Never fall in love ever again. Never fall in love ever again. Never fall in love ever again. Never ever fall in love ever again. Forget the word love. Forget it ever existed in your life. The only living things you love are your cats and absolutely nothing else. This was written in all caps with a black marker all over my journal, so that I remember, and I remember it well. And then, in a very sad little note, I wrote, I have so much love to give. So you can't really stop me from falling in love, can you? And there came a point where I started using journal prompts to write about things. And in a journal prompt that said, what do I want people to say on my 80th birthday party? Among many other points, I wrote that I loved with all my heart and would never intentionally hurt someone. Which I feel is very powerful. And it does hold true. I still feel that way. Next time, I wrote a letter to myself. And I think I wrote a letter apologizing to myself. And in that apology I wrote, however, I am also sorry. I am questioning all that you have loved and fought for so far because you too have a weak spot. You are free to love whoever you want. That hits a note. And then again, like using journal prompts, I've often used this journal for shadow work, which has helped me during some of the most confused phases of my life, where I didn't know anything at all. And shadow work really helped me figure out what I needed at that moment. And shadow work makes you delve deep into yourself, deeper than you could ever imagine. And this question was, why am I insecure? And I wrote, because I feel like I am not enough, not worthy enough to be loved. I won't lie, there are days I still feel like that. And then, when I was manifesting my best self, as stupid it may sound, I have manifested my best self. The requirements entailed, I need to practice determined and deliberate self-love. Which is also very, very true. And that is also a note that I keep close to my heart for days on end, because it immediately correlates to the saying that goes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Then I again wrote a letter to myself. This journal, more than being a journal where I just dump all my thoughts, it's also a journal where I have written several letters unsent to myself, to others, things I will probably never be able to articulate verbally to anyone else or to myself. And this was a letter to myself for all the times I've self-judged and blamed. I began it with, Dear Sharanya, I hope you are loving yourself today. And I ended it with, I love you more than I can ever articulate to you. And I think if there was any proclamation of love that I've held dear to my heart, that was given to me, it was from me. I'm really proud of that. And the last, but definitely not the least instance when I wrote about love, I said I would love to have my friends. I want to keep them forever. I love all of them so much. And I do. I truly do. At this point in my life, and at many more points in my life in my past, I've been very lucky to have my friends with me, who just make every day better, even if I'm at my worst. And on that note of gratitude to my friends, I wish all of you watching this right now the experience of love. I know that most of all in my life, if I have experienced love, it has been for my cats, my friends, and probably poetry, and by relation to that, literature. Love for my community as well. Love between two people is very rare to come by, especially the kind of love that you want to keep forever. If you come by such a love, you must fight for it. But you must also learn to let go. Because even the love that you have for yourself is very difficult to come by in a world where we are taught from the beginning to negate our identities, to make ourselves as invisible as possible. And love is always spoken in terms of giving it to someone else. How about we give it to ourselves? I'm sure this has become overrated by now, the word self-love. But it's not as easy and rosy and breezy as it sounds. It is a deliberate act of commitment every day to yourself. And sometimes I believe that because I have been able to make that commitment, I am good at keeping other commitments in my life. And I'm proud. I'm proud to have loved fearlessly, vehemently, loudly, and in the most graceful manner possible.